who who has more than 18 years of experience working with leading MNCs and startups across industries. And he's also currently pursuing his PhD in leadership models and battlefield strategies from the life of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So I really welcome Prashant here today, and thank you, Prashant, for joining us and taking this session today. Really great to have you.
Heartiest welcome to all the people who are attending this session. With whatever little I know, I'll definitely enlighten and try throwing some light on how do we survive the leadership muzzle which we are there in the Vuca world. The last 2 years, it has changed. Our entire life has changed, and the leadership really matters a lot at whatever positions we hold to make a difference in people's lives. So with your permission, sir, could I share my screen and
Sure, please. Yes, over to you. Thank you.
I believe that you are able to see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So when this entire topic came, I've been speaking on leadership in the Vuca world for quite some time. The entire idea is, I'll explain the word Vuca. Most of us would know, but still, if I could just try reconnecting it. Vuca is nothing but a world which is filled with volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And if you see here, the shore is where we currently stand. It's all our past experiences and the current conditions which we are experiencing. What we need to do is, the leadership dimension is going to play a very important role to turn volatility into vision. So if you have got a good vision of where your company is going to go or where your organization is you're planning to take it, it will help all the followers to be at ease, because you are the captain of the ship. From uncertainty, we would move to understanding. If we could bring in understanding to our customers, bring in understanding to our partners, our employee, our family, it really changes the entire dimension. From complexity, we need to move towards clarity, because clarity breeds it's a game changer. If you're very clear on what your goals are, the short-term blips and setbacks does not affect you much in life. And fourth, but not the least, from ambiguity, we move to agility, because if you're not agile in today's world, we'll all be left behind, and we would not know how to really conquer the curve ahead. Now, to explain leadership, I felt it is very important that we move to our childhood, because childhood days are the most amazing time which we had in our lives. We've enjoyed the best times because we had no worries, we had no responsibilities, and it is a very happy place to be. And all of us would have gone to theme parks, SL World or Imagica, but I took a case study of Disneyland, saying that how does Disneyland look at their entire property, and why is it the most visited place on earth? So it stands among the top 10 places visited in the world, and the guy you see is Lee Cockrell. He's the man behind who could create this entire Disney magic. And that is what we would learn in the next 15, 20 minutes or half an hour's time we spent together. I've picked up some important learnings, which I found was very relevant of how do we lead from the front. And Lee Cockrell has been a great man. So let me throw some light on who he is. Let's know. He was a former executive vice president of the operations of the World Disney Resort. He led a team of 40,000 cast members. Now, Disneyland has got a unique philosophy. They do not call their teams as employees. They believe that Disney is like a live drama or a live, movie in action. So they call their employees as cast members. Responsible for 20 resort hotels, 4 theme parks, and 2 water parks. Shopping, entertainment, and an ESPN sports and recreation complex, handling more than 20 million customers worldwide, making Disneyland the most visited in the world. Now, what is the purpose of picking up Disneyland in terms of leadership? One is to understand that how do you handle volatility? How do you handle this uncertainty? How do you help your team members to survive better? Because the leadership role is not to create more followers, but to create more leaders. Second is, how do we understand that what are the best practices? Like, how did Disney create a joyful, memorable experience for each of their customer? Now, we all need to understand that when we go to a Disneyland, and if there is a customer complaint, nobody is going to sit and mail and wait for some approvals for to come. Let's see, if your food is damaged, the decisions are taken real time. Nobody writes the boss saying that the food is damaged, what do I do? Nobody is waiting for instructions. So there is clarity in what they want to do, because customer delight is the key focus. Now, can we replicate the same energy level when we go to a in our organizations, that when people come tomorrow, how many of us feel, we feel the energy when we feel, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go to office. We don't carry the same energy. But if you're going for a tour or if you're going for a safari, we are very excited, and that energy speaks. So as leaders, it is very important that we create this conducive atmosphere for our teams to understand and perform better, because at the end of the day, we need to ensure that our team, which is along with us, a team could be a direct team could also be partners, that how do we create this energy level for them? So Disneyland had a clear purpose. They felt that where dreams come true. Their sole motto was the most magical place on earth. Now just imagine if we want to create a magical place or most wonderful place of our organization. It could be an institute, it could be manufacturing, it could be a training institute, it could be anything which we all are pursuing, which matters a lot. So can we create most magical place in our organization where our employees, where our customers, our students, they feel excited to come down? So let's understand that how do we do this? So the first strategy which I would want you all to remember is that, remember, everyone is important. It could be an office boy who is helping you to clean your office or bringing you tea, coffee, or it could be a courier person, or it could be an MD of the company. No one is small or big. Everyone is very equal and everyone plays a very important role. So how do we handle this? And how do we remember that? How do we create this joyful experience for people? The first thing is treat employees as you would want your customer to be treated. We've heard this quite a lot, but not many of us are able to practice this. But if you're able to do that, because your customers, every single entrepreneur you ask or every single leader you ask, everybody tells customer is the king. But I have got a different customer. For every entrepreneur or every leader, you've got two sets of customers. One is your external customer, who could be your customers, buyers who are making decisions. And the second customer is your internal customers, your employees, your stakeholders who are going to create a wow experience. So treat them well, and I'm sure that they will treat your customers better. Second is, we should always follow this rave concept. Rave is nothing but respect, appreciate, and value everyone around. So from tomorrow or from today, if you meet anybody, if you've seen something good, appreciate people. The world requires a lot of encouragement. We all are being criticized for the things which we fail to do, but there are a lot of things which we achieve in life, but there's nobody to applaud or nobody to acknowledge that. So as leaders, it is very important that you acknowledge your team, you appreciate, you value their contribution of what role they are playing. Third is know your team and let them know you. Now, how many of us know our team's birthdays? How many of us we know that what is my team's goals? It could not, if you're leading a large team, you may not be able to know everybody's thing, but at least your direct reports, your first set of people, if you're able to understand of what they're trying to do, they would really understand that it is very important to know your team goals. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What does my team love? Where do they want to go for a holiday? What are their weak points? Because only if you know their weakness, you can help them in building their strength. Our entire idea in leadership is you have to be leader driven. Lead people without a title. It shouldn't matter that just because you're carrying a designation of a CEO or a managing director or a head of sales or head of customer service that your team has to respond. We need to build that cohesiveness where they feel cared and loved. For this, listen to understand and not to reply. Now, in the leadership ecosystem, we find this quite a challenge, because when we're listening to somebody, our brain is already forming the answer which we need to give. So sometimes we miss some very important points because our mind is already prepped to reply and ask things or give them stuff. So let's restrain our answers, let's hold back those answers, and let's listen to understand and not to reply. Take a minute after your team member has shared something. It could be a very grave situation, but comprehend, give yourself a little time, and then you choose to reply with a proper solution. Fifth is communicate clearly, directly, and honestly. Now, this has worked well for Disneyland because their instructions are very clear. They exactly know what needs to be done. If when a situation comes in, let's say there is a delay, the team exactly knows of how to communicate. They don't wait for an order to come from the top saying that there is a bottleneck here or there is a problem here. If there is a garbage felt, each employee takes and considers this entire environment as their own home. Let's say we've got some garbage at our home. We don't wait for our parents to tell that, okay, this place is dirty, please go and clean. But just remember that the same garbage, if it's found in office, we expect the office boy or we expect the office admin to actually go and tell that there is garbage, please try to clear it. So it's very important to build your communication strategies. We need to be clear, direct, and honest. I hope everyone is with me. If I am going in a speed manner, or if you want me to slow down, please message or let me know so that we are able to ensure that everyone is together learning this. The second strategy, which I'm very fond of, is break the mold. Now, we all of us, even if you're not holding a leadership position, we're all trying to, become better. So I always tell people, don't break the mold, don't fight the old, create the new. So it's very easy to create a new Prashant, a new Sham, or a new Rudresh to make it better than changing our old habits. Our entire focus, how do we do it? It's not easy. It's easier said than done. It's, I think, one of the most toughest tasks in leadership, because it's very difficult to break habits of your team. It's very difficult to break those bad habits which you have formed over the years. So how do we do it? The first thing is expect resistance and be prepared to take a risk. Now, just imagine tomorrow your organization is deciding that I'm going to do a price hike. The entire sales team is going to be up in arms and tell them, sir, bilkul nahi hoga, aapne agar price badha diya to sale niche girega. So we have to expect resistance from people. Resistance not only from your sales team, it could also be from your customers. The customers may give you resistance, because if they're used to a certain discount or a certain price point, immediately if there is a price increase, they will drop. So we need to be prepared to take the risk. Then we must factor that risk of losing some sale in the short term, but eventually you will make more revenue. Second is clear responsibility and accountability. I think most organizations where the struggle is, we all make people responsible, but we don't make them accountable. Now, what is the difference between responsible and accountable? Responsible is something you're given this task. Accountable is you own the task. If something goes wrong, we take ownership. So when, as a leader, if something has gone wrong, take accountability, protect your team. It's very important that they don't come in the line of fire. So if you want to ensure that you don't fail, set clear responsibilities and set accountabilities among people. Make your team responsible and accountable so that they know that they are responsible to deliver this success or whatever piece of project they're working upon. Third is make every position count. Now, a good example is, let's say, the cricket. Most of us play cricket, so it's an easy understanding. Every position is very important. So if you have set the field, the 11 players on the field, each and every position is marked and each and every position counts. The wicketkeeper cannot leave his position and say that, okay, I will stand here and I will field. Or if there is a particular position, the bowler cannot tell, okay, I will bowl it from the other end. Everybody is given a particular position because that position matters a lot. So if you've got a low-level employee in your team or a fresher joining your team, that position also matters. Otherwise, you would not hire that person. So if you're having a new person joining your team, it could be a fresher, make that position count, make that person believe that whatever he is contributing, it could be, if it could be an office boy who's just joined and is confused, but it's very important to make him understand that whatever he is doing, he is contributing to the overall cycle. Fourth is eliminate overwork and get flat as you can. Disney's success was this: 40,000 cast members, but they didn't have a very long hierarchy. The entire park was divided into sectors and every sector had a sector leader. So he knew that if there is a flat hierarchy, the agility works better. You're able to serve your customers on a real-time basis and create that wow experience, because you can't have a very large hierarchy if you want to build agility. And that is one of the reasons, if you look at any moon missions or any Mars mission, they've got one mission director and they have got heads for each and every department. The mission director plays a very critical role because it is him who has to ensure that overwork is eliminated. We are not wasting our efforts. So today, if you go back, look at your organization, understand if you're overworking certain things. A lot many times the overwork comes when we tend to take, approvals. We may add 4 more approval heads when their heads is not required. So build a flat agility, ensure that you're not creating multiple bureaucracy in your organization, because, multiple signatures on an approval note is a classic example that you're not wanting to take accountability. If something goes wrong, you can tell, hey, I was not responsible. All the 4 people signed. And that is overwork, which is destroying productivity. Fifth is don't try to win every battle. Now, you may have a new employee or you may have a customer who's trying to argue, saying that you have not given me a better service. The best thing is not to get into a battle, because if you tend to take a battle, then it becomes an ego war. And ego, which I define in my terminology, is edging God out. We all in the Indian philosophy of Arthashastra and the Indian culture always tells customer is the king. So if the customer is wrong, it's okay. Remember rule number one, that customer is wrong. Again, remember rule number one. The entire idea is not to get into battles which is not worth. The battles are always fought with competitors, and that is where we should really put our heads behind. I hope we are all on the same page. If somebody could type or let me know, because I'm not getting any response from people. So I'm assuming that everything is going great. Rudresh?
Rudresh has written yes. I think.
Anyone? Perfect. Yeah, I'm just seeing that. I just saw the chats. Perfect. So I'll go to the third strategy without wasting time. The third and the most important thing is make people your brand. Your customers are your brand. Of how are they going to look at it? What are they going to do? How are they going to do it in a better fashion? It's very important to understand this. So select by talent, not by resume. Now, in HR, we all understand that it's a very tough ask to hold people together, because end of the day, we all know that hiring is a very critical component. And if you don't do the right steps, automatically it's very difficult to get the good people. So don't look at people's resumes alone. When you're interviewing, ask them their story, that why are they applying to this company? Understand their why, because why has got a lot of amazing stories. And that is not what is written in the resume typically, because resumes would have been either prepared by consultants or by their friends or by their mentors. So we add a lot of nice masala to make a resume look very glossy, because that's the first step. So as HR people, or as leaders, or as entrepreneurs, it's very important to understand and scout for talent. And that is what Disneyland does a lot. Disneyland hires a lot of fresh young blood, and they groom and build in their culture, because they understand that talent is not based only on resume. You could be talented, but you may not be able to communicate well. There is a job available in Disneyland. Second is nurture the talent to become your brand ambassadors. If you go to any place and if you find people wearing, you can easily feel the pulse, whether you're carrying the company's brand when you're meeting people or not. So if you've got a company uniform and this particular gentleman is not attending a corporate function without his uniform, you can clearly understand that there is a disconnect which is coming. So it's very important to nurture the talent so that they become your brand ambassadors. And this is free publicity because they help you to build a goodwill in the market. Third is find out what really matters for the applicant. Now, every person who's going to apply to a company, it matters a lot at what is he looking at. Is he looking at money? Is he looking at designation? Is he looking at a role? How does he want to contribute? What are his goals? So typically when I hire people, I tend to understand what are their goals. Are they living with their family? Where do they want to go for a vacation? So I tend to ask these questions because it gives me perspective of his hidden nature. Because end of the day, I can bring somebody, but I can, if the culture is not going to be a match, no matter what training I give, this person is not going to adapt to my brand. So I really need to understand what really matters for this person, and then build and understand that can this role deliver what he expects. Otherwise, in 5 to 6 months or in a year's time, the person would leave and you have to again rehire and respend the entire stuff. Fourth is select the best candidate, not the best one available. Many of us make this mistake. So when we are recruiting people, the HR team gives us 5 resumes and we pick up one from them. So, the thing which I keep pushing is I ask, are the 5 resumes the best candidates available? If they are not the best, I would hold on, because it's important to bring the right people on board or your team so that end of the day, your outcomes matters a lot. When you do not get the best candidate, you get outputs, not outcomes. So it's very important to understand that what matters a lot. Fifth is constantly evaluate performance. Now, performance, typically in organizations, even in large corporates or SMEs, we tend to evaluate performance end of the year. And then we make an appraisal and then we put a bell curve and find, okay, give them ratings. Somebody gets 5%, somebody gets 10%, somebody is 30%. Now that's how we rate people and evaluate. But in Disneyland, performance is done every day. Because the true understanding from Disney's perspective was they always said that Rome was not built in one day. So you need to keep ensuring that your performance is never down. Now I have got a line to add. I tell that Rome was not built in one day because Rome was built every day. Your brand is being built every day by your people. If you're serving your customers every day, you need to get your level 10. We cannot have saying that, okay, today I did not treat my customers well, tomorrow I will do it. No, performance has to be on an everyday basis. And we need to evaluate if they're doing things right. Unfortunately, in performance, we all hold our team when they do wrong. We hardly appreciate when they do right. So I think the next strategy which you would understand, which matters a lot, is that how do we sensitize our team and how do we hold our people together? No, creating magic through training. Now, training word has got a very dissonance among, a lot of, I've been the part of a lot of corporates. And in the name of training, they used to put us in a good hotel and had 5-star food, but the learning was zero. We need to ensure that training is in good organizations. I've been a part of the transorganization trainings. This has been absolutely mind-blowing. When I started, especially during the Corona times, it really helped me to visit my own purpose, find my own self, that how can I contribute? How can I make this world a better place to live? So how do we do it? Now, magic through training. First is give people a purpose, not a job. It is very important when you're hiring members in your team, give them a purpose. The job title is a 9-to-5 job, but purpose is beyond the timelines. Disney has got a very tough working schedule. They start in the morning at 11 and it goes till night 9 or 10. I know people would be working in shifts, but the purpose for every Disney, they call themselves as Imagineers, is to bring a smile on the people who are visiting the place. So what can we do today to our team? Can we give a purpose to our team and help them to find and live that purpose in a nice, better measure? Second is teach them how and where to spend their time. Now, a lot of people, a lot of my team members, I hire a lot of freshers because I always believe that freshers should be given an equal opportunity and allow them to grow up the ladder. So I teach them that how should they be spending the 24 hours. All of us have got 24 hours. Me, Mukesh Ambani, Elon Musk, anyone, if you name, everybody has got 24 hours. Nobody has got a 32 hours or a 48 hours. God has created equal time for everyone. But what we do in the 24 hours, our earning figures changes. If I can earn 1 lakh, Mukesh Ambani can earn $1 lakh. That is a difference. Because what he does in the 24 hours, the entire orbit shifts. So it's very important to spend the time wisely. Third is communicate constantly. So when we're leading teams, it is very important that there should be constant communication, and which is missing quite a lot, because when the team grows big, we either meet them only for reviews. Most of us would have weekly reviews, fortnightly reviews, monthly reviews. And what happens in the reviews, we all know. We're only trying to research and dissect of what has happened in the past. We do not have brainstorming meetings to understand how can I make it better? What can I do to bring a change in the figures if you're struggling? Or how can I bring a change to ensure that my customers are happy, my internal customers are happy? So constant communication is very important. And if you again relate to the cricket match, if you have seen the cricket match, if you're a cricket fan, after every wicket, Dada Saurav Ganguly started this methodology of a huddle, where all the team members used to come together to celebrate and also keep reminding themselves that the match is still on. The last wicket has not fallen or the last run is not scored. So the final whistle is yet to blow. So we need to keep reminding ourselves that what is the purpose of why am I doing, what am I doing, and keep constantly reminding all our team members about it. Fourth is give feedback immediately and effectively. Now, in feedback, if you all know, at least in some of the companies I worked, feedback was nothing but a personal criticism. I used to never get a feedback to help me elevate my next level. So always remember that give effective feedback, don't get it personal, and help the person to identify that where is the problem. How can I help this person to solve this particular issue which he may be struggling? So if I'm not good at numbers, if I'm not good at my sales pitch, can I help him course correct? And can I help him when he's doing the job so that he learns in the curve and does not take things personally? Fifth is prepare them for unexpected. Now, let's say in a context of Disneyland, you may be the customers may be standing in a line and somebody may just vomit, or somebody may drop their drink, or somebody may drop their ice cream. So it's very important that we need to prepare our team to expect the unexpected. So when we're ready with an unexpected situation, we are battle ready. In fact, Corona taught us this. Prior to Corona, most of us were used to working in an office. Corona taught saying that business can be done anywhere. Of course, it's not very easy. A lot of people who had challenges working from home, but it is very much possible to do. So tomorrow, another wave 5 comes in, or another nightmarish pandemic strikes us. We know how to handle it because now we expect and we are well prepared to handle such situations. Strategy 5 is eliminate hassles. I started this presentation saying that how many of us feel excited to come to office every day? The way we go for, for an adventure. When we are for an adventure, we are all battle ready. All our things are ready, our carryables, sneakers, camera, whatever we need to carry, everything is ready. Can we do the same thing in our organization? Can we eliminate hassles for our customer? Can we eliminate hassles for our internal customer? That we don't make them run around for simple basic things. So what can we do? Always ask how rather who. Every review meeting, if you've been part of review meetings, you would always see that we are always finding who's responsible for not bringing the sales, or who is responsible for having a poor product, or who's responsible for a product failure, or who's responsible for not generating enough marketing leads, who's responsible for dealing the hires. Every single meeting you attend from today, always keep pushing and ask, how can I make this better? So WHO and HOW, both are 3 words, but at 2 different spectrums. So if you start focusing on every single meeting and ask, how can I make it better, rather than who's responsible, you will start eliminating hassles and you will see a shift in your team. Second is listen to your customers. Now, when I say listen, most of us have got customer feedback calls, but we do not listen to them. We are listening, or if you have got a customer care center, we are listening to their customer complaints, but we're always in the midst of replying them back. So listen to your customers. A lot of brilliant ideas comes from your customers. Third is stay technically up to date and think ahead. In the leadership domain, I think this plays a very big role. 2 years back, none of us even knew how to operate a Zoom. Today, most of us attend our Zoom meetings. We know how to operate. We know how to change backdrops. We know how to take polls. So we have learned those technicalities. Most of us would have also gone to multiple platforms. So today, Google Meet is very popular. We would have also gone to Teams, or we would have gone to WebEx. 2 years back, these things were completely unknown. So we have to think ahead of which is the next revolution going to come. How do I upgrade myself technologically? How do I upgrade my knowledge skill set? The next verse is going to be definitely metaverse. It's taking the world by storm. Web3 is already on the curve. So which are the new technologies which is going to bring a newness in my industry, newness in my job, which is very important. For this, periodically evaluate the change you make. We all bring shifts in our work style. Probably we introduce some new mechanisms or new processes which we learn from the external world, but we have to also keep evaluating if it is making sense or is it a nonsense. Because lot many times when we set up processes, initially it looks very easy. We feel, okay, this is the need of the hour and we implement it. But if you do not evaluate it, it will soon become a bottleneck. Learn firsthand what is working and what is not. As leaders, as entrepreneurs, it is very important to take a first-hand view. Most of the entrepreneurs, they listen to their team members or to their core team and they get a feedback saying that this is a problem or this is not a problem. But if as a leader, if you're able to learn things firsthand, you will start understanding that if a process, if you've brought in a new process or you brought in a pricing change or you're making some app changes, whether this is valid or not. Strategy 6, so not much of strategies left. So 6th one is learn the truth. And this is one of my favorites because, there are 3 truths in life: my truth, your truth, and the real truth. And a good truth is a very basic foundation to build trust. They both go hand in hand. If you lie somewhere, I'm sure that trust can be broken, and to regain anybody's trust is the most difficult task. So never lie. The first thing is, get a ground level view. It's very important to understand what is happening on the ground. And if you see a lot of military leaders, now I'll take an example of the military leadership, the commandant or the chief army officer, they always pay visits to the forward post. The entire idea is to get a ground level view, also to motivate your team because you understand what challenges they are facing, what issues they are facing. So if you are a customer and if you want to be in customer service, understand that how the customer service is going on. And if you've got a call center, please visit your call center once in a month. Take calls, listen to customers. What are they going through? What are your call center agents going through? you will get to know a lot of truth, which gets hidden in a lot of presentations. Second is meet regularly with your direct reports. Very important to remain in touch with your direct reports. Spend time apart from reviews. Now, when we meet our team members, most of the time is always spent in reviews or in solving some customer problems. Meet them regularly, which is non-official. Take them out for a lunch or a dinner or have a golgappa together. But it's very important to build camaraderie. And it is very important to understand each other and spend time in knowing the person, because there is a hidden side of every person. If you're able to understand that, the entire orbit starts shifting. Third is assemble small groups and probe for the whole story. So tomorrow, let's say there is a problem in your organization. It could be a supply chain problem or it could be a production problem. Do not listen only to your production head. Assemble a small group from diverse people. So you will have somebody who's a technician who's at the front line. You will have his manager. You will have somebody else from the supply chain, or you will have some external people who are associated with the project. Assemble them and probe for the whole story. It's very important to understand the entire story before you come to a decision. Because if you're listening to my truth and your truth, our decisions could always go wrong. And this was very essential from a running perspective for Disneyland, because when you're leading 40,000 team members and you're handling 20 million customers, it is very important to understand the ground level reality and understand that situation in a better fashion. Fourth is answer the tough questions. So if you're going through a very lean period, your salaries are got delayed, or you have to let go of some people, do not hide the truth from your team members. If you have to let go of some people, be bold to answer those tough questions, because anyways, people get to know. Nothing is hidden from anyone. So it's important to face and handle those tough questions and give them a perspective of why a certain decision is being taken. If people understand the why, how is very easy. It could be, let's say, losing a deal. Do not go and tell your boss saying that I lost this deal because customer or the competitor offered a lesser price. Do not do that. Answer the tough questions. If you have not done your homework well, if you have not done enough sales call, or if you have not been able to maintain the quality of the product, face the reality. It's very easy to course correct it and go to the next level. Fifth is get formal feedback about your own self. As leaders, it is very important to understand what your team feels about you. Now, something which I do very regularly, I used to lead very large teams. I led Hindustan Times. I had a team of 400 people. Every quarter, I used to give them a slip. There's no name written. And I used to ask them to write 3 things which they liked about me, or whatever I did during the organization, or whatever I'm doing in my roles, and 1 thing which they feel I should change. And they don't need to write any name. They can just scribble whatever they like. I was always very enthused to understand what do I need to change. And when I get 400 inputs, I used to get patterns. Okay, this is my blind spot. This is where my team is not very happy with me. I can start working in the next quarter. Just imagine if I could get 1,200 views every single month, and I knew that, okay, where do I course correct myself? How do I make my team better? By becoming better. Because if I'm not good to them, no matter what training I give, what motivation I give to them, if I'm not good, I cannot lead a better team. 7th strategy, which is very important, is burn the free fuel. How many of us really appreciate our team members and make them feel like a star? How many of us give regular appreciation? How many of us feel that team member has done a great job? How do we communicate to them? What do we do? How do we ensure that this communication is done well to people? So burn the free fuel. The first is spending meaningful time with employees. It's very important that we spend meaningful time apart from work, understanding what are they looking at, what are the key elements, which is very important. What are their goals? Where are they struggling? Can we have an open-ended feedback? Can we have a lot of informal talk? Now, the people I worked with, I spent a lot of time with people as my leaders who used to spend this kind of time. In fact, there is one Alpesh Bodavekar, I moved 4 companies along with him, because every time he used to travel with me, he used to make me feel cared. And whichever organization he joined, I used to blindly follow him. It didn't matter to me of whether I'm working in a good company or not. I had a great mentor and I loved working with him. So it's very important to hold people together. Second is recognize employee by name. You may be leading a small team. In small teams, it's easy to remember people's name. But if you're having a large team, take an effort to remember people's name. How many of you know your office boy's name who comes and gives you the morning coffee? If you know his name, great. Can you know his children's name tomorrow? Can you understand when is his birthday? If you're able to do that, just imagine if your office boy's child's name, if you recall, and if you casually ask him saying that how's Nikhil or how's Nishant or how's Radhika, the kind of joy you can bring on your employee's face is tremendous. No amount of bonus, no amount of recreation, no amount of training is going to do that. These are some very simple hacks which Disney does. And if you're able to do that, our team also starts feeling the same experience. So just catch them doing something right and make it public. Unfortunately, many companies exactly do the opposite. We catch them doing what is wrong and we immediately criticize them in public. Never criticize your team member in public. Always give criticism in private and appreciation in public. You will start seeing a big tectonic shift in your entire morale of your employees. Fourth is watch your language. No, we're all being gauged and monitored always. Am I a cripper or am I a motivator? Do I play a victim mindset or do I play a victor mindset? I've lost an order in let's say in a review meeting and our team has not met its goal. We can either criticize them and crucify them, or we can motivate them to find their mojo and motivate them to go and fight the battle out. Till the final whistle is not blown, nothing is over. So it's our job to ensure that we use the right language. In fact, in my organization, I have got a rule. If I use a negative word, so I don't use any negative word, no, never, cannot be done, will never come out of my mouth. If somebody asks me saying that, okay, and if they catch me doing wrong, I have to pay a happiness fine. The entire idea is that if I'm removing negative word conversations in my communication, automatically I'm infusing the entire environment with a lot of positivity. Fifth, the most important, if you've forgotten the entire presentation, I'm perfectly fine. I don't expect you to remember. But this one particular part is going to be a game changer even in your personal life. I call it the ARE, appreciation, recognition, encouragement. Take every single minute to appreciate some of your friends, to recognize their contribution of your family members, to encourage your children, your employees, your people to do better. So please, please, please practice ARE to the fullest. You could be using an auto to go home. Just appreciate, saying that thank you for dropping me safely, or thank you for a good ride. It was bumpy ride, but you ensured that it was not bumpy for me. Recognize that they are contributing, recognize their efforts which they are taking, and encourage them to lead a better life. And I'm sure that if we all do, probably in 21 days, you will start seeing a big shift in your entire mindset in your life, and you will be a better leader. Strategy 8 is the most important one. You have to always be ahead of the pack. If you're leading, you have to lead from the front. There is also a theory of leading from behind, but in this case, we're looking to lead from the front because it's very important to help our team members navigate the challenge and help them succeed. How do we do that? Be a knowledge sponge. So, knowledgeable sponge is very important. Are you updating yourself on a regular basis? When was the last time you read a book? When was the last time you watched a motivational video? When was the last time you shared something to your team members? So it's very important that you be like a sponge. Keep absorbing information from your customers, from your team members, from your competitors. Very important. Second, I always tell, for me, doing the MBF is very important than the MBA. Master business fundamentals. Understand what are the key drivers of your business, key achievements which will help your organization to grow, key achievements which will help you to navigate to the next level. Every business has got their own fundas, so master it. Third is learn from the best. If you want to be the best, then definitely you need to pick the best to learn from the best. Disneyland ensured that they learned as much from their customers, but they also learned much from the Universal Studio and the Lego World, because it's very important to understand how do I become better if I want to beat the best. So learn from the best. Fourth is learn from your competitors. Very important. Most of our times we belittle the competitors, but we don't know what is a new product they launched. We do not know what is a new scheme they launched. We do not know what is a new incentive they have done for their team. So ensure that every week when you're doing your weekly presentation, there is one slide to learn from your competitors. Ask your team members, what did they learn from your competitor today? How updated is their website? What is a new thing which they have seen in the website? So pick our top 10 competitors and do a weekly study. In 52 weeks, you would have cracked the code of your competition. Fifth is keep the people you lead ahead of the pack. important when I say stay ahead of the pack is you lead people and you allow people to succeed. When they have got something right, allow them to bask in glory. When something has gone wrong, take responsibility. Cover them. Don't put them in the line of fire. Because leadership in the VUCA times, this plays a very big role. When we're in a volatile state, give them clarity. Give them the vision which why we are doing what we are doing. Strategy 9 is be careful of what you say and do. Words have power. It has got immense knowledge. It has got an immense power to, make or break hearts. It's very important that we do this. So what do we do? Demonstrate passionate commitment to your role and set very high standards. So if you've got a problem in your office of where your staff attendance is a problem, demonstrate your commitment. Demonstrate that at 9 you would be there no matter what. The moment you start setting high standards, automatically your team is going to emulate you. I have seen entrepreneurs, I have seen leaders who will criticize their team for coming late, and they themselves will come to office at 12 o'clock when the office timing was 10 o'clock. So don't set any rules which is not applicable for you. There is no excuse, there is no exception. You may be the owner, you may be the managing director, but what is a rule being created for all should apply for you. Second is do what it takes to get the job done. This single mantra has allowed Disneyland to remain always on the top. It's been close to 4 decades of particular action. They have always wowed their customer every single day because they do whatever it takes to get the job done. They do not shy away from taking responsibility because they know that the customer delight is not customer satisfaction. It is a customer delight, which is the most important for any Imagineer. They always believe anybody visiting Disneyland, no matter what the age, give them the wow experience. This model personal ownership. It matters a lot. It could be simple things of what can happen, how things go wrong. It's very important to understand that how do we get these things right? Model personal ownership could also be smaller elements where, let's say you're walking out of your office and you see the office lights on, fan on, AC on. Take personal ownership. Ensure that these are being shut down, these are being closed, and these are being, taken care of. You need not wait for an office boy to come and switch off your office lights. The moment you start modeling personal ownership, you start seeing a shift in the entire mindset. Fourth is don't lose humor. It's very important in the VUCA world. There are going to be challenges. There are going to be tough times ahead all the time. But it's important that we keep the humor in check. We always are very happy in whatever we do because that is very important for your team. Nobody likes a cranky leader. They always want somebody who's joyful and jovial. So when I say joyful and jovial, it doesn't mean that you keep cracking jokes on it every day, but you need to know how to diffuse tension in your team. Fifth is be a great partner and be humble. So when you make every single employee in your organization feel as a partner, and if you are able to have humility, I think this brings a big shift in the way the team looks up to you. We come to the last one, develop character. I feel that this is the strong fundamental of leadership because every problem is a character building opportunity. The more difficult it is, the greater the potential for building spiritual muscle and moral fiber. It is very important to build your spiritual muscle and always keep the morality in check. Do not compromise on your value ethics. It's very important to play the long game. How do we do it? First is anticipate ethical dilemmas. Ethical dilemmas could be, we need to understand somebody's come late, somebody's caught something doing wrong, somebody is trying to abscond. How do we handle these ethical dilemmas? Unethical things do not require a lot of time. We can easily take a decision. But ethical dilemmas is always time consuming. It makes us pretty weak. So we need to ensure and anticipate such things. Live your values. These are some of the values which Disneyland practices: optimism, innovation, decency, quality, community, and storytelling. Every single value is what everybody lives. Unfortunately, in many organizations, core purpose, core values remain in your presentations or in your website or in your annual reports. It is never practiced on a daily basis. So please start practicing your values on a daily basis and teach your values. Very important to teach values. In all my organizations where I worked, in at least the last 2 of them, the first day is when I teach every single member joining my team what are the values the organization practices, what are the values I practice, because it is very important to teach them the right things. For this, train your character, not just the skill. A lot of us go to trainings to build our skill sets, to build a knowledge base. But what we also need to train ourselves is to building our character. A character will lead a long-lasting effect on the entire history, because we are all knowing that we all respect people for their character and not just their skill set. If this, look and carry yourself like a professional. Very important to be professionally attired. If you are going to sport a beard, unless if you're on a fast or something, ensure that you're clean shaven. You are not having any body odor. You're in the best shape. You're wearing the right dress. Your shoes should be polished. Because important is to create a professional attire. Just imagine yourself, you're going for a heart operation and your doctor comes in a very funky t-shirt with tattoo and with unkept cleanliness. Would you be excited to go and do this operation? Would you allow your loved ones to be handled by such a person? So think that from today, whenever you're walking out, you may not be from a doctor profession, or you may be from a doctor profession, but think and act like a professional. And the best word for professional, when I mention, is I always look up to the armed forces. They're highly disciplined. They know what to carry. They understand of how they're well dressed and they behave well in the battlefield. Now, why am I learning these 10 strategies? End of the day, leadership is an important role, but it also helps us to understand how do we leap forward? What do we do? So how do we leap this is through this mechanism. We create a very liberal environment in our organization. We are very exuberant to infuse passion and optimism in my team, in my employees, in my stakeholders. We build in agility in taking decisions. If somebody needs to leave, if some price points cannot be met, take a quick decision. Don't delay in unnecessary process, and create wonderful partnerships. Because trust-based partnerships very important. Trust-based partnerships for your customers, for your stakeholders, for your employees, for your investors. It's very important that you build wonderful partnerships. Why this is important? Because for any organization, I call the 3 pillars, which is very important. And what are they? Is managing customer expectations. You pick up any company in the Fortune 500 or to the unicorns, this important fundamental thing, which is always customer expectations. How do we do? Make every single customer feel special. Ensure that they get that wow factor when they're interacting with your team, or buying something from you, or even inquiring something from you. When they are made feel special, the chances of customer retention and customer repeat becomes very high. Respect me. Every single customer's expectation is respect me. I want to be respected. I don't like to be disrespected. So if you've got if you've got a very tough situation, do not lament and do not belittle your customer. Respect the customer. Third is have knowledgeable staff. Very important, because if you do not have knowledgeable staff, the customer gets frustrated and he immediately run to competition. So if you want your customer to remain with you for long, ensure that your training and upskilling of every single staff member is on a continuous basis. This is the most critical factor for any organization to become successful. What is the second expectation? Employees or staff expectations. What do they expect? They also expect the same thing which your customer expects. Make them feel special. Ensure that on their birthday, you're not just sending a greeting card, but really creating a wow element for him. It could be, I lead a small team, so it's very easy for me. I ensure that every birthday, the lunch is on me. I host my team member to whatever restaurant they like to, or wherever they want to go to. Important is to spend time. I don't take my entire team. I only take the birthday person along with me. It's important to make that person feel special. It is important to make the member of my team understand that they're working for a larger purpose. And it's very important to set the tonality in the right form. He also expects the same thing. They expect respect. So ensure that you are respecting every single team member in your team with utmost respect. It could be an office boy or it could be a managing partner. Ensure that respect is never compromised. Third, make me knowledgeable. That's what every employee wants to. But unfortunately, we sometimes put them into difficult situations and difficult programs, which doesn't set the right tone. He wants to be developed. He wants that he understands the job. So every single staff expects the leader to understand his job, understand how can I develop me. Last but not the least, understand the customer experience cycle. This is what Disney cracked the code. When Disney's parks are being opened, they anticipate that there is going to be rush. So they deploy the right resources at the right places to ensure that there are no bottlenecks and it is done in a very easy and smooth fashion. They understand that arrival of the customer is going to be very important. In a digital era, arrival of the customer could also be on your website. It could also be on your app. Are you giving the right customer feeling that he's arrived at the right place? Third is, how is his experience going to be? If my app, if I'm having an app and I'm trying to make some purchases through the app, but there is having some bugs, is it user friendly? Am I creating the right experience for the customer to keep repeat buying with me? Fifth is, how am I departing? Am I departing on a wrong note, on a good note, on a happy note? How is my departure being treated? I could be a customer who is coming for an inquiry, but I didn't like your prices, I'm walking out. Can I create a wow experience even there? Because every single time a customer is coming to your shop or coming to your website is not going to buy. But if you're able to create a wow experience even in the departure, I'm very sure that the person is going to come back sooner or later. And last but not the least, create amazing memories for your customers. If you're able to create memories, this is what is most important, because people will forget of what they have done for you, but people will never forget of what you made them feel. So experience plays a very important role. And conclude, I would always put this as my last slide. First things first is right orders matter. If you pick up any organization, we have got a very inverse proportion. So the first thing is ensure that you have got a good, strong leadership team. Your leadership team is definitely going to build you and create a good staff environment. A good staff environment will always create good customer satisfaction. And a good customer satisfaction will always lead to great business results. Unfortunately, in today's times, in a very fast, cut-paced, throat-paced competition, most organizations, most promoters always look at from an inverse proportion. They want good business results, then they want good customer satisfaction. Then if the money is left, I'll give some bonuses to my staff environment. And then finally, I hold or train and my leadership team. My leadership team should not be loyalty driven. It should be merit driven. So hire your leadership team, which is meritorious, and they have the courage to tell no to you. So do not only keep yes people in your team, because it's very important that leaders should give you the right guidance to ensure that you are able to take informed decisions. With that, I would like to end today's presentation. Thank you for giving me your time, and more than happy to share whatever little knowledge I have. Open for any questions if people would be able to delight them. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant, for such a wonderful session. So many things we learned today about leadership. So it was really enlightening. Please ask questions, anyone, if they have. You can raise your hand and then we can unmute you.
So if there are no questions, I assume either they've understood everything or it has gone over their heads.
But the presentation was really good. So I think it is, everybody has understood everything. There are no questions, then we can close today's session. I think there's one question coming up. Somebody had raised their hand. Yes, Suresh. Hi, Suresh.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir, I can hear you.
Okay, there was the second slide or something was something about the mold, how to break the mold or something.
Correct.
Mold is, the spelling of mold is MOULD, not MOLD. Just an observation.
Sure, sir. I'll definitely correct that. Thank you.
It's a minor thing. Otherwise, it was very informative. I mean, it was enjoyable actually. I mean, simple things that can be done every day, and I think that it is something that can really add value to the company.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Really very nice. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Sorry
you.
about that. It is not a criticism, just a.
Oh, sir, in fact, I take every single feedback as important because it is important to keep increasing the level.
Yeah, because I'm your customer at the end of the day.
Correct. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. No, because it's perfect. It's perfect. And I didn't want that something getting ruined by that.
No, not at all, sir. In fact, I have just, as you speak, I have also made the correction so that, it's important to get real-time feedback and correct it.
Yeah, it's perfect now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Suresh, sir.
Thank you. Very enjoyable. Thank you. Thank you, Shyam.
Thank you. Thank you. Suresh is one person who never misses this our sessions. He's
No, I
always
enjoy it. It's like therapy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions or feedback or suggestions would be welcome.
Okay, sir. If there's nothing more left, then
Yeah.
we can wrap up. Thank you
Yeah.
for your time. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
interacting with you all.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Prashant.
Zita.
Thank you once again
Yeah.
for sparing
Thank
your time for this session. And
Pleasure
really
is all mine,
appreciate
sir.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for attending the Gyan Jyoti session, and we hope to see you again next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.